Hi, this is Natalie Rydstrom and you're watching SBR Picks. Now, final match sees Arsenal host Everton for the final match in the Premier League on Sunday. The Gunners enter with a disappointing 3-1 home leg loss, playing Monaco for their Champions League fixture, so all eyes will be on them as how they will bounce back. Well, sports writer and SBR contributor Lee Phelps joins us now to run us through the match. Now, Lee, how will the Gunners bounce back? Do you think they must be hurting at least a little bit?
Yeah, I would have thought so. I mean, I thought they'd beat Monaco, I must admit. I mean, I don't like backing Arsenal odds on, full stop, don't like it. I do a podcast with William Hill and we previewed the Champions League game against Monaco, and although I thought they'd win, I couldn't back them at that price. My best bet of the weekend last weekend was them to beat Crystal Palace. You know my love of Crystal Palace. And they only just did that. You know, it was very, very close at the post. So, you know, Arsenal are odds on to beat this Everton team who are struggling for their lives, but can't touch it, Natalie. Cannot touch it. Arsenal are always liable to throw in a terrible performance or just a wasteful performance. I mean, you're 2-1 down in the Champions League at home to Monaco. It's bad. It's not terrible, though. It's not the worst result in the world. What do Arsenal do? They go up the pitch and try and score a second instead of just consolidating on what they've got, and then they consider third. 3 away goals to overcome now. It's ludicrous. I mean, and a manager as good as Arsene Wenger, he really should hold his hands up and not blame his players and actually say, this happens too many times, too much naivety. So I can't back Arsenal at all when they're odds on ever again.
Yeah, I think everybody was surprised actually about that 3-1 loss there. But, question is can they bounce back? The reverse match saw a goal-heavy 2-2 draw. So what are you expecting in this match?
Well, Everton are poor. You know, they average under a point a game away from home, and they're still not out of trouble yet. They will get out of trouble, I'm sure. They probably need another 3 wins, 12 points to make sure they're absolutely safe in the Premier League. But they haven't been doing it, have they? And we've seen time and time again in Europe, they'll go into Europe on the Thursday night in the Europa League. They'll come back and they'll be a shadow of the team that played in the Europa League. Last Thursday, they beat Young Boys 4-1 away from home. Great result. Came back. Were lucky to get a 2-2 draw against Leicester, the bottom club in the Premier League. They needed an 88th minute own goal to rescue a point. Disastrous, really. I mean, they should have been in the game, but they just don't seem to be able to do it in the Premier League. Now, as we record this, Natalie, they're winning 3-1 at home to Young Boys in the Europa League as we record this. Good performance. Another one scoring goals. Seems easy. I think they'll come back to the Premier League and be inhibited again for some reason. I think Roberto Martinez will set up for a point in a similar way that they did when they went to Chelsea. They didn't get away with it against Chelsea. Willian scored an 89th minute winner. And I think the same thing will happen here. I think they'll go for a point. I think they'll keep it tight. But I think Arsenal will break them down eventually. So I do think Arsenal will win. I'm not saying I'm going to back them. I do think Arsenal will win the game. I think it'll be under 2.5 though. Very tight game. But I'm going to trust Olivier Giroud to do what he couldn't do against Monaco and convert a chance, because he was very wasteful on Wednesday night. But yeah, Olivier Giroud to get a goal in this one for me.
That's your top tip here for betting the match?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I often put goal scorers to score in the match. With me predicting that this will be a tight match, I wouldn't put anyone off having a go on him to score first, actually. I think because I think it might only be 1-0 and it might be quite a late goal, I wouldn't put anyone off having to go on the first goal, because you may as well, if you think it's going to be a low-scoring game, there's a chance that there's only 1 goal in it and he gets it, then obviously it's the first one. But just for safety's sake, I'm a bit of a weakling. I'll just go for him to score in the match at 2.2.
All right then, Olivier Giroud, anytime goal scorer, 2.2 there, Bet365. Lee Phelps, thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.